Hello, sorry about that. We'll wait a second for Hey Loretta. Hey Heart Eyes. Hello again, Chica. Thank you for letting me know that my sound was not working again. I turned my phone volume down because it was getting annoying hearing myself, but I should have left it on to um make sure that it was still working. I don't know what's going on. Hey Sue. Yeah, groupies. Hey Sugar Ant. Sorry about the technical difficulties. Seems to be a regular occurrence with my live streams lately. I could have just restarted the stream on OBS, but if I didn't want to use my microphone again until I figure out what's going on. And if I don't use the microphone, it doesn't sound very good at all. So, um, but it's probably a good thing that my sound went out at the time that it did because I don't know. I mean, I didn't say anything that I didn't mean, but I know, right, Hard Eyes? I know I love the D Live stickers. Oh, speaking of that, I'm gonna put my D Live link in the chat real quick because I do want to encourage you guys to come over to D Live and follow me on D Live so that and again I just need you guys to be there and I'll do watch streams whenever. I just don't stream or do watch streams on D Live because I mean the majority of my followers over on D Live are already woke, you could say, or so they don't necessarily need my input, but I mean they are interested in the case. Okay, D Live. Okay, and I'm going to pin it. Oh, I can't pin it. Oh, I can't pin it from. Oh, that's not necessary, Chica. I just appreciate you being here and for keeping me sane through all of this. Okay, sorry. I had to go into YouTube to pin it, I guess, apparently. I don't know. But I should be able to, I guess it doesn't let me do that on my phone, like post the comments on the screen. Yeah, it doesn't let me. It just says block user. Anyway. Oh, never mind. I just did it, but I don't know how I did it. Oh, we just click on it. Okay. Oh, nice. No sound still? Don't tell me that. I think there's just no sound because whenever I close out of the browser for StreamYard, because I'm on my phone, it mutes it for some reason. I don't know why. But yeah, Chica, that's crazy about I mean it's crazy, but it's not crazy. I say that because I don't really know what other word to use, but about the looping, I can't believe. I mean, maybe someone has mentioned it before. Like I said, I do remember several people saying or pointing out how their what they were saying didn't match their body, their body language. But I don't remember anything about the looping per se. Oh, really, Sue? Oh, nice. Yeah, they do a great job. They are both great streamers. You should come check them out when they're live, because I'm usually in there. So, oh no, you're okay, Loretta. It was more than likely on my end, but it usually is for the most part. But yeah, that looped footage is crazy, and that's what I'd like to find out. How can we find that out? Because I showed you the files that I mean, at least the True Psych Ward got when she went to Colorado, but that interview's not in there. There's a lot of stuff missing from there, and that is it. That's so. See, that's why I really need to find out if that's how it was actually, sent from Will County, or if the person, the YouTube creator, was the one that edited it. Hey, Purple, good to see you. Mark and Chica, you guys are funny. Use guys. So pretty much what I said. I'm not gonna say everything or repeat everything that I said while I was muted, but pretty much if you're being charged to hear content from um, a channel creator, and specifically one that says that they are only covering the case because they want the truth and they want justice for the victims, if you're being charged to hear what they have to say, a fee, right? Monthly fee, or if you are being timed out or blocked in their chat for simply asking questions, or because whatever your opinions go against the channel creators, those are both huge red flags in my opinion, and is pretty telling all in itself. Because if you want to really, if you truly want to get the truth out there and you want justice, then why would you limit the truth to only, certain individuals who pay to hear what you have to say? Why wouldn't you want to get the truth out there to as many people as possible so that it can, have a better chance of getting out to more people. Hardy har har. I know I said it. Hardy har har. And if they use an excuse like, oh well, I'm limited to what I can say on YouTube because it's censored, and I agree with that, right? How that's all I ever say. I can't talk about my theory because I'm not allowed. But the difference is I'm not saying, hey, if you want to hear my theory because I can't talk about it on YouTube, or if you want to hear the juicy stuff, right? Not permitted on YouTube, then come over to my Patreon and pay a monthly fee. You don't see me doing that. Like I'm saying, hey, come over to follow me on DLive, where I'm less censored as of now, and I can more openly talk about my theory in the Watts case, and not have to worry all the time about getting my channel taken down if I say one wrong word or walking on eggshells all the time. It doesn't cost anything. It's just a little bit of your time to sign up. And I'm also saying, hey, here's my Discord link. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm not charging a fee for you to join my Discord server. So that's pretty much what I said, with a little bit more added on top, but in a nutshell, when I was muted. And of course, I'm not telling you who you can or should not watch. I'm just simply saying, hey, look at certain things, and ask yourself why. Why am I being charged to hear this person speak when they really want the truth? Why am I being silenced and timed out and blocked for simply asking relevant questions or having a difference of opinion? That's what people need to ask themselves, in my opinion. Hey, Spacebound, again. Thanks for finding me. The whole case is mismatched. There's a lot of evidence that wasn't looked out of that house. They closed the case too quick and realized the house too soon. They should have never allowed Chris Watts to go back in. I 100% agree, Loretta, without a doubt. Fireball, ugh. I hope it like chilled at least, because that is not feel good when it's warm. Ugh. Well, ugh. Oh, you have the day off tomorrow? Cool. That's nice, Chica. Mark, only the ones who can see this case for what it really is can be sub of the month. So unfortunately, looks like it's gonna have to go to Chica. Or even Purple. Even if Purple Butterfly, if she doesn't see this case for what it really is, she's amazing. So you got some competition there, Mark. I'm kidding, but there's no favoritism here. Okay, here is a different creator, same looping. Okay, let me check it out. Okay, it's probably not gonna let me. Of course not. Of course not. Why would it let me copy and paste it? Hey, Aussie Purple. Good to see you. And I'm ignored or have sarcastic comments made against me. Yeah, exactly, Sue. And that's That's how it is. Anytime someone speaks up about these cases, they're automatically coined a conspiracy theorist and crazy and heartless and how dare you, and it's done like that on purpose, and it works. A lot of people that do want to speak up and ask questions, they're too scared to, for they think they're going to be attacked, and they are. So I don't blame anyone. I definitely know how that feels. So I mean, I guess I didn't really need to start a new live, but I just wanted to start a new one real quick and fill you in on what I said a little bit when I was muted. But I think I have been on here for quite a while, so. And there's always so many things that I have to say as far as what's going on. In the true crime community, but to be honest with you, I mean, as far as the drama goes, you're not going to hear it from me. Sorry. I mean, if that hurts my views, then so be it. But this is not a drama channel. This is to find the truth channel, and I know a lot of channel creators say that, but I'm really not necessarily trying to find the truth, because I personally know the truth of this case. But I'm trying to expose the lies of this case, because we've been lied to on and deceived on a massive scale, and I don't think or I know that the majority of people don't even realize that, of how massive the deception, or how, not massive, but how big the deception is. You guys know what I'm trying to say, right? By now, if you guys have been following me for a while, you get what I'm saying, I hope. But I mean, I'm trying to just, I don't know if it's possible, but I think that, I mean, I've shown and exposed and pointed out an overwhelming amount of inconsistencies, and all these breadcrumbs and these connections and the predictive programming and the numerology and all these strange coincidences, right, in this case. And I have more. There's so much more that I have that I can show, but I just feel like if the amount that I've showed already is not enough, then I don't think that showing more is going to change anything. I mean, I might eventually get around to it, but I don't have theories, and I've mentioned this before in my other live streams. I've never changed my original theory. I've felt this way, not from day one, because I didn't know that, what this case was from day one. I was also duped, and fooled, just like everybody else. But over time, I started recognizing and noticing those red flags and those characteristics that I've been constantly telling you guys about over and over and over again, because those are what you need to look out for. And if you can check off the majority of those characteristics, you're more than likely dealing with an orchestrated event. Or you need to, like, the truth is in the patterns. My proof is in the patterns. I'm more inclined to believe something that keeps happening over and over and over again than something that, or not believing something that just might seem crazy or doesn't make sense, and just automatically rule it out as crazy or consider it crazy. Again, the proof is in the patterns, and they're not changing their patterns. They're doing it consistently over and over and over again. and not just in true crime, but in other tragic events as well. So, and there are also events that don't add up. You'll notice that there's a lot of red flags in these high profile tragic events. So why is it that the ones that I'm questioning just so happen to be the ones that don't add up? I'm not questioning the ones that do add up, or where, we don't have 1,000,001 questions that we have to try to find the answers to. I mean, you have to. I can't make anybody see what it doesn't matter. I don't think it matters how great of a speaker you are, or how well you explain things. Sometimes it takes years for someone to see everything that I'm showing and saying. That makes sense. And they have to want to look for that information that I'm saying. They have to want to research. And it just takes that one thing for that person to wake up. And once you do, you can't you can't unsee it, because once you are aware of these events, and you know how these people operate, and how they literally put everything in plain sight. I mean, they're not hiding it at all. Once you know about it, and once you can spot these characteristics, they're very easy to see, and it's almost to the point where it's laughable. That's how well, I don't want to say poorly constructed these events are, because I mean, obviously the psychological aspect is working on the majority of people, and they do. They're brilliant. But once you are, get past that, and you're able to see these events for what they really are, they're so easy to spot. And like I said, it's pretty ridiculous once you do. Thank you, Purple. I appreciate that. So anyways, I got off track, but what I was saying is that I've never changed my theory. And like I said, not from day one, because I was fooled as well. I was like, oh my God, that's horrific. How could this guy murder his entire family, right? Take him to his place of work, bury his wife in a shallow grave, and dump his 2 little girls into oil tanks, right? I was disgusted when I first saw it. I'm not going to say that I sat there and I bawled my eyes out, but I know everybody's different. But what's interesting is there's some, like true crime documentaries that I've watched on. I mean, I've seen many, but there's certain ones where it's just like you get that feeling, and you start to get all like teary-eyed and worked up, and you just get that feeling in the pit of your stomach, like how sad it is. I never got that feeling with this case. And call me a monster, call me heartless. I knew that he was lying on the porch, right? Because that's the first thing I saw with this case, was the Dr. Phil thing. And damn that day. Damn it to hell. No. And here I am 2.5 years later. But I did what exactly all of you did. I was like, how could this guy do that, right? And the minute I got home, what did I do? I got on the internet, and I got on YouTube and started looking up Chris Watts. And first it was the Coonrod body cam footage, then it was Shanann's videos, and then it was Nate's video, and then it just went on and on and on and on. And that's that's a perfect example of how these psychological events, I'll say, that's how they work. That's how they pull people in. So I was pulled in just like all of you. Like, I'm not any I'm not more intelligent than anybody else. I'm not, you know what I mean? It's not, it has nothing to do with that at all. Um, it's just because I have been like researching these events for a few years now, and I wanted to, when the September day, and I talked about this a little bit in my last live, but that very tragic September day years ago, right, that we're all familiar with, not the day that it happened, because I was, fairly young back then. I was just a little tyke. No, I wasn't that young, but um, it was several years later, right, when I was older, that I don't remember what it was, but it was some video I watched or something where I said, that is weird. Like, how could they just fall into their footsteps, right? Or just into dust and yada, yada, yada. And so that event was a huge wake up call for me. And that's what was my one event that got me to want to research government corruption and these other events. And could this possibly not be everything that we're told, right? Is there something else to it than, like I said, what we're being told? So again, it's not, and I don't ever want anybody to think that I'm like, oh, I've never changed my theory and I'm Miss Know It All, because that's not the case at all, um, whatsoever. But like I said, I have been researching these events for several years now, and I've learned all these red flag characteristics that I've been trying to tell you guys and show you guys, and to um, get you guys to remember and to look out for, from other, channel creators and other truthers that have been talking about these events. So essentially, I'm trying to do the same thing that that they did for me, as far as um, exposing the corruption. And like I said before, I will beat these red flags into your heads. And no YouTube, no subscribers or viewers were harmed during this live stream. Um, and yeah, Loretta, it's confusing, and there's a lot of people that will never be able to see, like these events for what they are, or to see past the emotions. They won't be able to push their emotions aside and think logically. Now, does that make them stupid or not intelligent? No, it just they're just not. I don't know how to explain it. Like, they're not. I'm not good with this part, but well, one, they're not educated in it. They don't know about these events, and a lot of people just don't want to go there. They'd rather stay in their, their safe bubble and just go on with their lives, and they'd rather believe that the world around us is perfect and there's no corruption, and that's, that's their choice. And there could be several reasons for that. I don't know. Cognitive dissonance. Sometimes people are too busy to researchers. They just are trying to go to work every day and put food on the table for their families, right? The last thing they want to know about is corruption and government corruption and media, mainstream media propaganda and whatnot, which is, totally understandable. But there's some people that will never ever be able to see the manipulation that's going on, like the straight up manipulation. And the crazy thing about it, you guys, is they are not even hiding it. They're not hiding it at all, and that to me is fascinating. Um, like, just because of how many people are just so oblivious to it, but they don't know. They don't know how these people operate. They don't know how they like to use their symbolism and their numerology. And if someone like myself says, hey, look at this symbolism and all these occult numerology numbers, right? What are they going to do? The majority of people, they're going to look at me like I'm a crazy person, and it's done that way on purpose. It's meant to be that way. But they literally are, again, they're not hiding it. And I'm not the only one that's talking about this kind of stuff, you know. And unfortunately, like I've said before, I can't play any of their content on here for you guys. You'll have to go, and I can only give you the sources unless you come over to DLive. Then hey, Adi, good to see you. If you come over to DLive, I have no problem playing these Oli Damiger videos or these RV Truth videos or ODD TV or just anything that points out these elite or powers that be that are, for whatever reason, doing the stuff to control us, essentially. So I can only give you the information, and what you do with it is on you. You know what I mean? Because you know, unfortunately, and I've said this before, I don't have a lot of solid proof or receipts, as you know, people like to call it, because they've made that impossible. They've made it impossible because they scrub so much information and conspiracy theories from the internet, then it makes it difficult. And not only that, but they also put it in their guidelines that you're not allowed to question these tragic events. So they are making it very, very, very difficult for someone like myself, or you know, any other truther out there, to expose these people. Again, why is it okay that why is YouTube okay with accusing a mistress of murder, or a coworker of murder, or saying that they're on drugs, or saying that they are in a cult, or saying that they you know, are a child trafficker, right? You can say all that stuff apparently on YouTube because it's not in their guidelines, but you're not allowed to question a tragic event that has many holes in its narrative and inconsistencies. Why is that? Why is it okay to accuse someone of literally of murder, but you cannot question the authenticity of a tragic event that doesn't add up? To me, the fact that it's stated in their guidelines that you're not allowed to do that is pretty telling in itself. Sorry, and I'm ignoring the chat. Hopefully, um, Chica's helping. Chica's very good at helping me fill in what I'm trying to say most of the time. Y'all need to find the Red X murder case files here on YouTube and watch the 2 or 3 videos on the forgotten witness. It would blow you mind. Okay, I'll take a screenshot of that, Loretta. I always, I love when someone refers like another channel, because there's so many, I'm sure there's so many great other, you know, channel creators out there that I never heard of. So when someone tells me about one that they like, that's awesome. So same with music and movies. Hey, Monica. What do you mean? Do they consider this a tragic event, Spacebound? I'm not quite sure what you mean by that, but it could be just because I'm a space cadet. I mean, I get what you're asking, but I mean, who is they? They, the powers that be, or us, or them, or oh, YouTube? Well, I mean, yeah, because you're talking about the narrative. The official narrative says that four, or 3.5 lives were taken, right? So, I would consider anything with death to be tragic. I mean, they don't specifically say this case in the guidelines, but hello again, Melissa. Oh no, you're fine, Spacebound. I just wasn't sure exactly what you meant by your question, so I just wanted you to clarify, just in case. But yeah, anything high profile with death or involving innocent people or lives being taken, they consider a tragic event. I mean, it's crazy because a lot of these channel creators and a lot of people in the true crime community are essentially, I can never find a good way to explain this, but I mean, for instance, like how no one, the a lot of people have been saying that no one died in the house, right? Because the cadaver dogs didn't pick up a scent, and now the majority of people, as far as I know, are convinced that no one died in the house. So, I mean, it's essentially, in my opinion, only makes my theory, it supports my theory even more. Um, and if you know what my theory is, that would make sense, right? Um, why do you think that the majority of people don't think anyone died in the house? Probably because no one blinked in the house or anywhere else. Oh boy, I think I'm okay with that. I don't, whatever. It's just so ridiculous. No, Mark's using salsa dancing emojis and fireballs. It's funny. Good thing I didn't put that setting on, Mark, or you wouldn't be able to put that comment, because you can actually make it so people in the chat can't put like a crap ton of emojis. I don't know why, but another example of that would be how Chris didn't have enough time. Chris didn't have enough time between when he left his house to when he went to Survey 319 and back to the house. He didn't have enough time to do everything that the narrative says that he did. The reason for that, in my opinion, is because when you're dealing with these orchestrated events, they are never going to be perfect, ever. Something will always go wrong. Someone will always mess up. So they'll have to either try to fix it to get it back on track of the official narrative, or do their best to get past it. So especially in other orchestrated events where you're dealing with the event outside, where you only have you have certain people that are a part of it, and then you have the others that are the unknown, unwilling, victims of it. So those ones might cause some trouble for them. Or, for instance, weather. What happens if they plan this whole huge event and it rains, or whatever? Um, there goes their whole event, right? Or it's going to probably cause some sort of um, something to mess up. So that being said, when you're dealing with weather, you have Shanann, where the official narrative says that she flew into Phoenix and went to Scottsdale, and her flight was delayed due to weather. Now I can personally attest to that because, or confirm that, anyways, about the weather because I specifically remember that day, which is kind of funny. But I remember because I was actually outside taking I was photographing the lightning. So I remember that day very well. So I can confirm that it was storming. Now, can I confirm the blackouts and everything or the plane being delayed? No, because in my house the power didn't go out. But that doesn't mean it didn't go out anywhere else. I don't remember the weather being that bad that day. I don't. It was towards the end of the monsoon season, so that was one of the last days that it was the monsoon season was there. So, but I do know that it was storming there, and obviously anybody else can look it up. But um, so let's say that her flight really was delayed. That's going to cause a major problem in their narrative, because if it is orchestrated and they have this all planned out, um, they're going to have to go in and change it, or maybe they don't change it and say, hey, let's not change it. They might notice that he didn't have enough time. They don't care. They don't care. It doesn't matter if he didn't have enough time. All that matters is that the majority of people or the public believe that this actually happened, right? Um, so one inconsistency like that is not going to be a big deal, but it does show how it messes with their whole plan, right? Hey, silly Nan. I'm gonna say, is it Nana or Nana? I'm gonna have to work on these names, and that's really simple. But you never know. Potato, Nana, Nana. So, but hello and welcome. So that's going to be an issue or cause issue in their narrative, right? Do you see where I'm going with this? That's why everyone thinks that Kristen didn't have enough time because of that hour or two delay from Shanann's flight. That's something that they don't have control of, even though they do weather manipulation, which I'm not going to go into obviously right now or at all on YouTube. But um, you know, Mother Nature is something for the most part that they don't have control over. So they had to adjust to that, obviously, right? So those are just two examples of um, inconsistencies that, I mean, pretty much support my theory in itself, in my opinion. And yeah, it was supposedly delayed, and that's what I'm saying. I don't know for a fact if it was delayed. Um, all I know is that there was bad weather, but I personally don't think that it was that bad from what I remember. Um, but the point of it was to point out. The point of it was to point out. Hi, how things will go wrong in these events that they have to adjust to. And one of the bigger red flags, if not one of the biggest, if not the biggest, is the amount of information released with this case. So much information, but yet hardly any information. Does that make sense? They released, yes, it was a lot of information, especially since we have not had that amount of information or documentation, right, released in any other case. So, and especially all at once or in dumps, data dumps, I like to call them, it does seem like a lot. But if you think about it, they really didn't give us anything of relevance in this case. What did they give us, or or show us that would give us any closure or any understanding of why Chris did what he did or why this happened? Like, to me, as far as I know, that's the point of releasing the case files, is to give the public some sort of closure, some sort of reassurance, um, that the police did what they needed to do, or law enforcement or the government did what they needed to do in order to get um, evil off the streets, right? So all the information that they could give us that would give us that closure, they didn't. All they gave us was useless, um, non-relevant information. The letters from women to Chris in prison, you know, filler filler pages in the discovery. Many only having many blank, many duplicates. For example, Shanann's Be on the Lookout flyers. There was several of those in there. Pages that only had one or two or three sentences on them, and the rest were blank. Many pages that only had one photocopy of a post-it. Just useless, pointless, non-relevant information that gives us absolutely nothing. um, at all. But it's done that way on purpose. It's done that way so that we will dive down rabbit holes, and 2.5 years later, here everybody is trying to figure out what in the hell happened, what Chris did. Was Kessinger involved? Was Troy involved? What leave Jim alone? Was Daddy Kessinger, was he a Freemason? Is Kessinger, did she poison Chris's drink and make him hallucinate so that he would kill his family? Was he possessed? Was he did he ride in on a unicorn? Like, it's just, it do you guys see what I'm saying? Like, it's caused so much confusion, and I know that the true crime community, that's what it's about, right? You guys discuss cases, and I say you guys because, like I said, I don't I didn't even know a true crime community existed until the Watts case. But you guys have probably been in true crime, dip, take two, in the true crime community. Got it, for some time now, way longer than I have. And yes, so I get it. Like, that's what it's about, discussing cases, picking at the minds of these serial killers and why they did what they did and how could they do this. But for a case that has had so much, and I don't want to say so much information, but the amount of information released, there is no reason why there should be so many unanswered questions. There's no reason why we should still be here over 2.5 years later trying to figure out what in the heck happened, or why law enforcement didn't do what they needed to do, and why there's so many holes and so many inconsistencies. It should be, with the transparency that they are supposedly giving, it should be open and shut, especially with as quickly as the case was closed, right? And how everything was done. Why are there so many unanswered questions? Why? Because it's done that way on purpose. That's the whole psychological aspect of it. If everybody knew that it was orchestrated, then it wouldn't be a very good psychological event, right? The PSYOP. And they should probably get some better writers or whatever, or people to orchestrate them, because Um, if everyone knew, then it wouldn't be very good. If it just like if everyone knew that some, that a certain individual was a manipulator, um, then they're probably not a manipulator because everybody knows that they are, and they're not being manipulated. Does that make sense? But and I know it's hard. I know it's difficult um, to really grasp a lot of a lot of the things I say, but you just have to again try to push your emotions aside and just know that especially these days so many things can be easily manipulated, so many things can be deceiving, people can be super messed up. That's putting it lightly. Hey, doing life my way, good to see you. um I mean, it's so easy to deceive people, and they've been doing it for years, but now they can really do it. They have their little tricks and their little, ways of doing it, and they just get better and better, but they also get sloppier and sloppier. And if as time goes on, more and more people are just gonna just literally stop thinking for themselves. As cheesy as that sounds, it's frightening how many people do not think for themselves or think logically or ask questions. They just believe whatever they're told, and that's frightening to me. It's really frightening. And those are the ones that are going to ruin it, unfortunately, for the rest of us who do think logically and critically. I mean, and just look at everything if you can one time. It doesn't have to be obviously right now or anything, but just when you have a chance, sit back and just literally look at this case. Try to look at it from a different perspective. And I know that's easier said than done, but I mean, literally sit there and just think about everything that's going on, all of the theories, all of the drama, all of the nonsense, how everything is in just social media, like, or on social media. You don't hear the mainstream media talking about this case anymore. You don't hear them talking about the 35C. Why? Because it's nonsense. If Chris was really thinking about getting a 35C, don't you think that the mainstream media would be on top of that, covering that? This guy could potentially get a shortened sentence, and it's going to go to trial. They're going to want that story first. We're not seeing that. You know what we're seeing? We're seeing tabloid stories from People magazine and tabloid stories from the Daily Mail about Vaseline and boxer shorts. It's it, if People magazine is covering a true crime case, it's for show, you guys. It's all for drama and um, entertainment purposes. I mean, do you really think that Chris's parents are going to um, honestly, do you think that they're going to want to get help from a nobody? I'm not saying that this individual is a nobody or whatever, but I'm just saying, wouldn't you think they would want to get a professional lawyer or law team, somebody who is educated and has a oh gosh, my voice has a now that means it's almost time to go. A who has the education behind it, right? You know what I'm saying, right? Why would they? Why would Ronnie and Cindy? Why would they get help from channel creators on social media or guests on channel creator friends of it? Just it doesn't make any sense. It's not realistic. It's not logical. It's really really ridiculous. honestly. And the whole movie thing with Ronnie going to Denver with you know who and the other you know who creator, and they have the whole documentary, right, with the credits, the opening credits and the name. Like it's it's a movie. It's like the world's a stage, and they we all got front row seats for this for the show. Okay. Hey Tom, thanks for being here. Why do you think this is the only case where they showed us the accused or the confessor? I don't know what it's called. The Why would they show the murderer being transported to jail? Why would they show him being polygraphed? I don't even know if that's legal. Just I don't even know if polygraph tests are supposed to be recorded, because if they know they're being recorded, that would cause them to be nervous even more. But I don't know. I thought they were supposed to be private. I don't know for certain, but either way, the point is, why did they show us so much footage? So much footage. But you have to pull teeth to get just your own case file from these people, and jump through hoops and hire lawyers to get your own case files, but yet they release all this information in this one high profile murder case, and then nothing adds up. They're not, I'm sorry, but they're not going to release all this information to just make themselves look incompetent or fools. If they wanted to cover this case up, it would have been covered up. Trust me. If Anadarko wanted this case to go away, I can almost guarantee you, I don't want to say guarantee, but I have to be play it safe there. But if Anadarko wanted this case to go away, do you I mean, think about it. Do you think that Shanann's Facebook would be just left open for the whole world to see? Do you think that any of these documents or the discovery or any of these body cam footage videos or the interview, do you think any of that would be released if Anadarko really, really wanted this case to go away and swept under the rug? And do you think that the discovery would still be left up online 2.5 years later? Do you think that do you think that Chris's court hearing would be televised if Anadarko wanted this case to be swept under the rug? If Anadarko wanted this case to go away, this, the story wouldn't even have hit the headlines, in my opinion. Because they're gonna know about it before we do, right? They could have made it go away right after he did his porch interview. They could have said, "Oh, he found his family." So if there's so much documentation, and if oil companies are so powerful and they really wanted the case to go away, it would have been gone, and we wouldn't be sitting here 2.5 years later with the discovery still online and all this. Oh, and not only that, but if they really wanted Chris to be silent and not keep his mouth shut, you really think he's going to be talking about AD, right? Oh, just don't watch AD. That's all I care about. I mean, come on. This guy's supposed to be a psychopathic murderer, and you're trying to tell us that his only chance to say anything he can to the public is don't watch AD. There's so many just crazy, ridiculous things about this case um, that completely support what I'm saying. And again, as far as I know, I'm the only one that is attempting to give you guys some sort of answers that you guys are looking for, like why nothing adds up, why so much information was released, why Nicole Kessinger is hiding and we haven't seen why she fell off the face of the earth. As far as I know, I'm the only one that's saying this is why this is, and that's why this is, or that is. And there's nothing wrong with what some of the other channel creators are doing, going through the discovery and stuff, but it's still it, it's getting us nowhere. It's theory after theory after theory after theory, and it's just over and over and over again, and we just end up back into the same place again. Like, has anything ever came from any of this breaking news, any of this Cadle, or any of the phone release jail phone calls, any of these crazy stories? Nothing has come from them. It's just a never ending. It's like, and I compare it to a soap opera. It's like, there's always that something that happens with your favorite character, right? And you think there's going to be some sort of closure, but then there's not. Because if there was, they wouldn't have a soap opera anymore, right? That's how they keep people hooked on watching soap operas year after year after year, because they're addicting and they're dramatic, right? And then there's no conclusion ever. Because again, if there was, show's over. Same with the Watts case. There's theory after theory, breaking news after breaking news. Or when the case starts to die down, something always comes out to keep people focused and interested in the case. And it's okay to theorize, but I mean, we have to be honest with ourselves here. We only have part of the evidence. So even, let's say, even if everything that they gave us in this case was 100% factual, or 99% of it, and there was no inconsistencies, right? But they only gave us half of the evidence. It would be impossible to know exactly what happened. So the fact that we have this information and there's so many inconsistencies and nothing adds up, now it's literally impossible to find out what happened or to solve a case when you only have half of the evidence. And that evidence, again, we don't even know what is true and what's not. In my opinion, it's all false. But like there's just so many, and I should probably just write these all down, but I normally just say them when I think of them. But like, the erratic behavior and the odd behavior from the Ruseks. Number one, when are victims of a tragic event, when have they ever been threatened or harassed or had death threats? And not only that, but what are the odds that it also happened to the same way to a victim in a show called American Horror Story that just happens to have an overwhelming amount of predictive programming in it with this case? Too many to deny that it's not coincidental. So when have victims, family members of a tragic event ever been sent death threats? Now, if it was truly happening, that's terrible. But there's no evidence of that. It's only their word. That we have to, believe. And just because you're a victim, unfortunately, sorry, it doesn't mean you're a saint. It doesn't mean you're an angel. It doesn't mean victims don't lie. It just means that they are unfortunately victim to a tragic event, right? Or circumstance. So the Ruseks behavior is very telling. The Watts as well, but mostly the Ruseks, how they're all over the place, They're on Dr. Phil. They say that they believe the mistress is involved and that she's suspicious because she deleted her text messages. And then a couple months later, they're saying, don't talk about the case. You can only talk about the case if it's the official narrative, no conspiracies. And then they're going on social media and saying that no one was involved, that the mistress is 100% innocent, and that Chris is the only one who did it, and that law enforcement did an outstanding job on the case and did everything they needed to do to get the guilty behind bars. So they keep flip-flopping to cause confusion. It's like, which one is it? First, you think it's the mistress is involved, then she's not. And then it's, okay, you can talk about the case, but only if you talk about the narrative. And then you can't talk about the case at all. And don't upload videos of my daughter and my grandchildren anymore. And those are videos, channels that are trying to keep their memories alive. And here Sandy is saying, don't upload videos of my daughter. Well, how about, Sandy, I don't care if anybody gets mad at this, how about you not go on Dr. Phil and publicize the deaths of your daughter and your grandchildren? Because that's what you did, Sandy and Frank and Frankie Jr. You went on to a very well-known mainstream show and talked about the case in your family, publicizing it, right? And ABC, and I don't know, Daylight, whatever other ones they did. But not only that, they also left Shanann's Facebook account open, right? So for the whole world to see. Here, I'm going to leave my daughter's Facebook account open, knowing that this is a high-profile event, so that millions of people can go and watch her videos all the time, but then have the audacity to say, you can't talk about the case. It's pretty hypocritical. Then, on top of that, this is the craziest part. They streamed the funeral live for whoever wanted to see the funeral. They streamed it. But then they're going to go a couple months later and say, you're not allowed to talk about my daughter, who's, unfortunately, right? That's what happens when you're victim to a high profile case. You're going to get picked apart. It's just life. And that's unfortunate, in real tragic high profile events, if any of them are. I know that sounds crazy, but I'm beginning to wonder if anything is real anymore, which is pretty sad. But I mean, not sad that I believe that, but sad that that's a possibility. So they stream the funerals live on Facebook for the whole world to see, and then, like I said, have the gall to say, you're not allowed to talk about the case. And then on top of that, they partner with Netflix to make the documentary. So how dare you willingly give all this documentation or whatever of your daughter, right, and the girls, to Netflix, that blew the case up even more by doing that. This is not normal behavior. And I know that people everyone's different, how they react to tragedy and stressful situations, right? But the behavior of the Ruseks is bizarre, ridiculous, absurd. I don't know. Call it whatever word you want, but it's not normal. It's not normal. They say, oh, we're trying to mourn the deaths, we're trying to stay off social media and live our lives, but we keep getting death threats, and which is almost word for word of what the character on American Horror Story says. That's one of the the bigger ones that are like, okay, there's no way that's a coincidence. But I'm not going to get into American Horror Story, don't worry. But they say they're trying to stay off social media, but people keep sending them, pictures or things that people are saying. So, which is, that would be difficult. But so instead of just stay off social media, it's not hard, right? It's really not. Or whatever. Yeah, it sucks that people are sending it, but instead of doing that and trying to stay off social media and just dealing with whatever they're being sent, they actually went to social media, seeked out these channel creators, which I have a theory about that as well, which I also am not going to go into, but they actually, went to social media, seeked out these channel creators, engaged in social media and these live chats, and not only engaging in it, but they became moderators of these advocates that were advocating for them, right? And encouraging these advocates, so-called advocates, and the people that support them and fall for their victim, poor me, right? Everyone's a victim in their life. What makes you any more of a victim than anybody else? Okay. And yeah, if it really happened, that it's terrible. But you're going a year later, a year and a half, 2 years, 3 years, and you're still playing the victim card. I mean, that's, come on. Peddling for, PayPal donations and GoFundMe's. I mean, how long are you going to be a victim for, or play the victim role? You're always a victim. But so anyway, so what they're doing is they're becoming moderators for these advocates that and encouraging them and instigating them. And these so-called advocates are making videos about other creators and other people and mocking them and making fun of them, and which is just boggles my mind considering they're supposed to be advocates, or claiming themselves to be advocates. And what do the Ruseks do? Remember, they're victims. They go on to those other channel creators and leave comments and go, ha ha ha, that's hilarious. I needed a good laugh today. This channel creator was literally mocking another channel creator in the true crime community. And Sandy, Frank, and Frankie Jr. all commented and said, haha, that's hilarious. They have no idea. Someone is always, and this, it infuriates me. We're all a victim to at some point in our lives, whatever it's from, right? So the fact that this family is claiming to be victims and literally encouraging people to make fun of and mock people, but they have no idea what they've been through in their lives. It's I don't even have words for that. Because what kind of victim literally encourages people being made fun of and laughing at others like that? And nobody, not maybe not nobody, but the majority of people are not saying, hey, why would you say those comments? Why would you laugh at someone's being made fun of? It just, why aren't people questioning that? Is it because the Ruseks are victims, and so that completely like dismisses their behavior? No, if you're a victim, you should know how it feels, and the fact that they're encouraging people to be made fun of in hurtful ways is mind-boggling. And I don't care if anybody has a problem with me saying that, because it's wrong. So, not to get all dramatic, but it's wrong. So, but their behavior, my point is, their behavior is what you need to really look at as far as what they're saying, how they're acting, how they're causing division and chaos in the true crime community and social media. It's bizarre and it's not normal, in my opinion. because all they're doing is, that every time they've been kind of quiet as far as I know lately, but every time Frankie Jr. posts a comment in his community or whatever community post or makes a video or Sandy makes it, all they're doing is just getting people to talk about the case more and interested in the case more. But then they're saying don't talk about the case. But then you engage in all of the true crime community. It makes zero sense. Or they say don't talk about the case. What does Frankie Jr. do? He posts his FBI interview about Shanann on his page, on his channel. Why would you post it? It's just weird in my opinion. The FBI interview of you being questioned about your sister's murders, right? And your nieces. Why would you post something like that? An FBI interview. And then not only that, but tell people they're not allowed to talk about the case. It just makes zero sense to me. It's nothing is logical about it, and it's hypocritical. And hi, Dave. I saw you sneak in. Hope you're doing well. Well, I don't know if you snuck in, but I just wasn't paying attention because I was on my rant like usual. And I try not to, for the most part in this case, I don't have any bias. You guys know that I don't have any. It's not that I don't have any emotions at all. As a whole, I just don't have any emotions about this case because I know the truth, right? Not because I'm a heartless person, right? But I do get, worked up about it simply because we have been lied to on a massive scale, like huge, huge, huge. I mean, they have deceived so many people and they don't care. They don't care if you or anybody else have cried yourself to sleep at night because of these murders, right? Or murders, quote unquote, or this case. They don't care if it's affected you. They don't care if you now don't trust your husband or your significant other anymore because of what Chris allegedly did. That's the whole point. That's the whole goal, one of them. They want people to constantly be in fear. And I just get pissed off a little bit because it's again, it's so much bigger than people think. And like I said, they've deceived us. And it's not with just this case, many, many, many other events. And they are doing it to the end goal is to be able to condition us, to control us, so that we conform, so they can take our rights away without and with trickery. Not even like, because they can't just come out and say, hey, we're going to take your pew pew pews away, or we're going to take your free speech away. Because if they do that, they know it's not going to go over well with the public. So they have to use psychological bullshit, and they have to use trickery and manipulation, and something like I always mention, the Hegelian dialectic, problem, reaction, solution. And it's brilliant, I tell you. And they use it all the time. But when I do get emotional about this case, it's because of those reasons, because they've lied to us and we don't deserve that. And the fact that they are trying to essentially just take everything that we have away from us. And on top of it, they're mocking us. They're mocking us straight to our faces with their Easter eggs and their symbolism and their numerology. and they're not hiding it at all. And that's what pisses me off even more, is the mockery. So it's one thing to, to fool us, but then it's another thing to laugh in our faces about it. So anyway, didn't mean to get all deep, but it's important, and to talk about that, because it's I hate getting like all dramatic about it, but it's because I don't want it to seem that way. I don't ever want to use, I try to keep, not, what's the word I'm looking for, not level, but um I just don't want my emotions coming out to sway your opinions. You know what I'm saying? So I try to stay neutral, I guess. Is that the right word? And I don't, get all intense and worked up, or at least I try not to. Because like I said, I don't want to sway your opinions. I want to only give you, you know, as many facts as I can and as much information as I can, and you take that information and do what you will with it. So, but like I said, it is important because we're gonna wake up one day and you're I don't know, it's probably not, obviously not gonna be tomorrow, but slowly but surely you're gonna wake up one day, or we're gonna all gonna wake up one day, and we're gonna have nothing left. You're not gonna be able to discuss true crime on social media because they're not gonna just censor us, they're gonna censor you guys. You're not gonna be able to do a lot of things that you used to do before. And it's just gonna be one day. You're gonna wake up and you're gonna go, holy shit, where'd all our rights go? Why are there so many laws passed? What do you mean I can't discuss true crime on social media anymore? What do you mean I can't have an opinion? They don't want us to think critically or logically or have opinions. That's the whole goal. So they use propaganda and psychological warfare and or psychological bullshit is my way of rewording that specific thing that I talk about all the time. And yeah, like Spacebound said, it's already started, and they've already um, successfully taken away a lot of our rights. And if people don't wake up, I want to promise you, but it's not going to be good, you guys. And I know that sounds dramatic, and you're like, Megan, it's just true crime, but it's not. It's everywhere. And people need to wake up to the deception and know that not everything is what it seems. It's far from it. Um, Call me a conspiracy theorist, call me crazy. I don't care. I'd rather be that than, you know, live the rest of my life in a bubble thinking that the whole world is perfect. Because look around, it's far from it. So, anyways, my voice is going to probably do that thing again. It's so funny because when I have an audio recording of when I was like 3, I think, and I'm singing songs or whatever, and my voice sounded just like how it is now, and it would crack like that when I was like 3, like it was too big, my voice was too big for my body or something. I don't know. Anyways, it just reminds me of that tape of me singing. But and I wish I don't ever want to sound repetitive, but being that I am limited to what I can talk about on here, that's going to happen. And not only that's going to happen because I don't have, like I said earlier, I don't have 100 theories for you guys. I don't. And I know it's probably boring. My theory is probably very boring or not the outcome that everybody wants, but it's the truth. And I can say that with 100% certainty. That's how confident I am in what I'm saying. And I don't have to use um, drama or manipulation or crazy theories um, to support my theory, because it's just not going to happen. And if that's not for you, then fine. But I'm doing this for the ones that do have an open mind, and um, I don't care if I wake up one person or 100,000, which would never happen. But that's not the point. The point is that someone needs to do it. So no one that for whatever reason they're not doing it. Um, I don't even know if a lot of people know that it's happening in true crime, or maybe they think that it's not as big as like the other bigger events. But all I know is that it's happening, and that you guys, and when I say you guys, the true crime community, but as well as the public, are being lied to with these high profile um, missing persons, true crime murder cases. You are being deceived. 100%. And I don't like to see that. I don't, I've met a lot of amazing people over these 2 years, and a lot of not so amazing people. But, and like I said before, you guys don't deserve that. No one deserves that, because there are some people that where these events do affect them more than others, and it affects their lives. Like, to me personally, that's kind of crazy to me, but that's 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 just my opinion. But I'm different. I'm not like everybody else, or you might not be like everybody else. People are affected by tragedy and things like that more than others. And I already said that. Now I'm repeating myself. But bottom line, I hate seeing so many people being lied to, and for selfish gain, which is probably why most people lie. But um anyways, you guys know what I'm saying, and I hate getting all dramatic, because this is not, I'm still me when I cover this case, but I just can't. I don't like to be like a downer, I don't like to be like I said, dramatic and stuff. But it's there's a time and place to put the goofiness, like my that I always am under normal circumstances, aside, for doing what's right. And you know there's always a good time to be an adult. Yay. No, I'm just kidding. But anyway, thank you guys so much for being here. And like, share, and subscribe. I never say that, but you know I know that a lot of people are afraid to speak out. But um, just try it. Just say, hey, look, I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but I wish I had 700 people in my chat right now listening to what I had to say, or what I have to say, and have 700 people, or give me the opportunity to tell hundreds of people, right, um, my side and my theory, and let them decide. Um, that would be fantastic. But um, regardless, I just appreciate you guys always being here when you can, when you get notifications. um, and again, it doesn't matter if it's 1 or 1,000 or 100,000. If I can wake up one person, or even they don't even have to see everything that I'm saying, or agree with everything I'm saying, But if I can just wake up one person or get one person to, think for themselves, as cheesy as it sounds, it's so important. And just ask questions and think with the critical minds that I know that they have, right? Um, we all have that ability. We just need to find it or get it back if it's lost. So if I can accomplish that, to me, all of this was worth it. So again, I just appreciate you guys being here, and thank you, Chica and Purple and Mark, my #1 sub, and everybody else for being here. You guys are great. I'm gonna go rest my voice now. Sorry for, I really tried to not ignore the chat, but when I can't stop. So anyways, thank you guys, and I'll see you. Oh, and please consider following me on DLive, because like I said, and I know I've said this many times, but if you are really interested in hearing what I have to say that I cannot say on here, if you really want to hear more about it, where you don't have to pay anything, please consider following me on DLive, and I will figure out a way to get you guys all there. If I have to come over here and go live and trick you guys and say, "Ha, just kidding, go into DLive," I'll do it. You will see a difference over there compared to here, just because I'm so much more like relaxed over there as far as not having to worry about what I say. Anyways, thank you so much, you guys. I really do appreciate it. And my DLive link should be pinned at the top. Take care, and I'll see you guys next time.